What's up, everyone? I'm gonna go see Bring Her Back. Um, Looking forward to this movie. I just saw Talk to Me a couple days ago, and I like it. I don't think it's the greatest film I've ever seen. I do like how disturbing it could get, and it's not really necessarily the violence, but it's just like it's like the scene where they depict hell, and it's pretty disturbing, and I think they're really good at disturbing imagery. These brothers from Australia, um, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this film. Kind of reluctant because I heard a lot of things like it's very emotionally draining. Uh, you won't leave this movie in a good mood, and but I'm really into you know you know challenging films and things that break boundaries. So and who knows? I mean, a lot of people didn't really like Hereditary. Thought that was a little bit much, but honestly, I love Hereditary. So this might hit different for me. So we'll see. I'll give you guys a review afterwards. Um, let's get it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to channel Y.O.B. It's your host, Joshua Solomon, and today I'm doing a review for the film Bring Her Back. This film is a beautiful nightmare. Oh my god. It's been a while since I've had this much, like, emotion, emotional damage. Emotional damage. This much, like, I don't know, disturbance from a film. And one of the most disturbing films I remember seeing as a kid was Omen, Night of the Living Dead, um, and there's a few others. Night or Invasion of Body Snatchers, the '70s one. Um, yeah, it's been a while. Oh, and Exorcism. That was like later when I was in my like teens. I saw that. I didn't see that movie until I was a teenager. But when I saw that, it still disturbed me. It's been a while since I've seen a film that actually could disturb me. You know, because a lot of horror films now are very generic, and there's a lot of remakes, rehashes, a lot of cliches that directors follow, and Sinners is great. I still love the film, but I don't necessarily agree with the audience saying that this is a original film. It is not that original. I mean, the details are original, and these are brand new ideas that he's implementing in this framework. But the framework is Dust Till Dawn. The framework is Dust Till Dawn. That's what it's like, and I truly do believe Dust Till Dawn did their vampires better. Some people say the vampires were ridiculous. It's like, well, no, they were practical. They weren't CGI. And it wasn't like I mean, it was jarring. Where Sinners felt kind of like, I don't know. It was like this thing. Dust Dawn wasn't jarring, where Sinners was jarring when the vampires show up. But I don't want to get into that. Yeah, Bring Her Back. Let me get some information real quick. All right, this film was directed by Danny and Michael Philippou. Um, it stars Sally Hawkins as Laura. This is for you, Sally Hawkins. I have not really noticed her in films before. Um, but this film, I definitely am. I'm very, very impressed. She did a 10 out of 10 performance. Best performance of the year so far is Sally Hawkins. I'm just putting it out there she needs to be a nominee, go for an Oscar. Jonah Rin Phillips as Oliver. I thought he was great as the kid, the possessed kid. That kid just has a very, his eyes look very like I don't know, dark. He has like a lot of intensity. Like that's the right thing. Where intense intensity, in his face. For a kid his age. And it's great casting. He just has a lot of screen presence and a great actor. Um, Billy Barrett as Andy, I thought he was great. The he was pretty much the lead of the film. He has a lot of screen presence. I heard he was in that Craven, the Hunter movie. I'm not watching that trash. Uh, Enough said about that. But yeah, I'm glad he was in this, so I could see he's a great actor. He's definitely Hollywood needs to be looking for new actors like him. We need more captivating like actors, not just being young. And I'm not talking about like we need to just get young actors, and anyone young like Timmy Chalamet, is not young, but he's not a good actor. He's mediocre. He did a few good performances, and I think he's good at smaller stories. I don't think he's good in just playing Paul Atreides. I don't think he needs to be. What else was he in? Willy Wonka. Like I hate when Hollywood makes it people like it girls or it boys. Like, okay, this young person we're just gonna shove in everyone's face every day. Zendaya, she's trash at acting. The girl is just a Disney princess, and that's it. And a lot of boys think she's really cute, but the girl cannot act to save her life. Euphoria, she did one scene where she's having a temper tantrum, but I think it's more of the direction. It's not really her. But this is like it's not just a in this movie the cast is not just acting emotional in the tragic, dark moments. They're acting in the nuanced quiet moments with captivating emotion and a screen presence. And this movie just really scratch that itch I've been having with the need of seeing like engaging acting. Like I love when actors make you feel like you're there, like and it feels like they're telling the truth. Like and it makes then the violence and the bad shit that happens in the movie more believable and tangible because you care about these people and you don't want them to get hurt. When you have bad actors, it's kind of like okay, let's just see the set piece, and it just kind of feels like you're going through the routine. It doesn't feel like you're experiencing something, you know. Sora Wong, she plays Piper, Andy's half sister, and she's incredible. The girl does have I believe, a visual impairment disability in real life, and her character has the same disability, but in the film, it's not like it's exploited. It feels like it's actually being used for the story in a proper way, and it's just really nice to see impaired people or disabled people in cinema, and not being pandered to. See, that's the one thing I love about these directors, Michael and Philip, yeah, no, Danny and Michael, I'm sorry. These twin brothers, they're if you see them in interviews, they're very goofy, very silly, very upbeat, high energy. So it's very shocking how dark their storytelling and their visuals could get, and how emotional and serious they are deep down inside. And that's what they say: the people that laugh the most are usually the most depressed. The people that make everyone else laugh are usually the most like broken inside themselves, like Robin Williams. And you could feel it. Like they really, I do feel like they one. I think it was I forget which one it was. Either Danny or Michael, the one with the blonde hair. The one with blonde hair in an interview said that their sister or a cousin or someone they knew lost their daughter at like when she was 2 years old, and um, they were in the hospital with her, and they gathered around her, and they noticed how she was so broken, and they used that event in their life to, in those emotions and the states that she was in, and they injected what they went through with her into this character Laura in the story, which is, you know, you love to hate her. Now, I mean, Sally Hawkins did such a great performance on making you hate her, but not in a generic way. Like, it's like in a way that's like you feel sorry for her, because you almost like you want to care, you want to take care of her, because you feel like, oh, this woman's broken because she lost her daughter. At the same time, what she's doing, lashing out at everybody and like in sacrificing, literally, people, it's not right. It's just like it's so, and it's almost like, yes, I understand you lost people, but it's like, and that's the thing, you're dealing with characters too. Billy, I mean, sorry, Andy and Piper, who are they are they just experienced loss, and they're handling it in a more healthier way. They're holding on to what they have, you know, positively. They're not, literally trying to conjure up the dead, and literally, and it's like they're in a process of letting go. Even how they go into the bed. I'm not going to spoil like drastic. There's a in the beginning of the movie, their father passes away, and that's why they're going to the faucets in the trailer, you know, and when he does, they're kind of getting all their things before they move in with Laura, and while they're in their father's house, they're underneath his bed, and she's like talking about, the room, and it's just like it's so quiet and like personal, and it feels like so real, and it shows, and it's a way they're showing like kind of like they're grieving and they're letting go. They're in the process of letting go, you know, and you know Laura, her character is really just, just shows you how people could become monsters because they can't let go of the past. Like, for example, if someone's like really was popular in their youth, or they felt like they were at their peak in their youth, and then they get older, they start a midlife crisis, and like, I can't. They start getting resentful, and they see someone young, and they always bash. That's why, even the hip hop culture is always like, do they call the old heads? They're always like, oh, all this new rap is shit, it's so shitty, or why is there so much femininity in music? It's like, guys, you had Prince and like men wearing hairspray and tight clothes back in the day too. All right, in the '80s, it was popular for boy bands to be dressing very feminine, wearing lipstick. So I don't know. There is not even that much as much of that back then as it is now in music, to be honest. Because so it's like showing like it's just showing how people could be very destructive and resentful and antagonistic to others because they can't let go. And I mean, it's just really about grief. The movie is really about grief. It's about it's about the dangers of passive aggressiveness too, like how people could play two sides of the fence and be like very nice while their intent is to destroy you, and how they kind of gaslight you into thinking you're crazy and stuff, and how destructive that is. I think it was more scary to see how Laura ripped Andy and Piper apart, and break Andy psychologically. I think that was a horror, and it's just seeing it because it's so relatable and so realistic, and so you see that in real life all the time with people like that. So it's just like it's not more than the cult stuff. Like, that's great and all that. I think it does add, some sort of like it makes it more fantastical. It gives you a spectacle too, But honestly, I think this movie would have been good just on a, just without the occult stuff. To be honest, if it was just, a grieving toxic mom, who tries to blackmail Andy, and almost like on the verge of the anniversary with Betty Davis, which is one of my favorite films of all time. I love Betty Davis. She's my favorite actress of all time. Rest in peace, Betty Davis. Um, yeah, this film is was just amazing. I genuinely love this film, and I didn't know this before looking them up. The directors Danny and Michael Philip Hugh, I believe. That they love the movie with Betty Davis in it as well, which is crazy because it's just the performance of Sally Hawkins just totally reminds me of a performance that Betty Davis could have done. It's a very she's not this like macho. She's showing the power of femininity in a toxic way. She's showing toxic femininity, kind of like playing the damsel when really she is like the destructive force behind. She has like evil intent, but when she's getting caught out, it's like, I'm just the old lady. Why are you coming? Please stop. But then when you kind of corner, she has nowhere else. Like, no, when is no, the jig is up. It's kind of like, well, fuck you, dude. Yeah, let's try to stop me. I'm gonna kill you. So it is like, whoa. It's like, and that's really, it's like playing, and you see so many people like that out in the world, you know. And that's the thing. And then Betty Davis is a great actress for playing that. In the anniversary, if you haven't seen the movie, please see it. It's her best performance ever. I love her look too, where she has an eye patch and everything. She's so badass in that film. She's literally a queen in that film. Even though you hate her for what she's doing, she's fucking evil in the movie. But she is the best example of a villain you love to hate because she's so good at the role. She's doing such a believable job, and it's like there's so many people in real life that are like that. You know, but yeah, the actors were great. The sound design was immaculate. I love the sound design because you could hear fabrics when the people are brushing up against something. You could hear footsteps. You could hear glass when someone's hitting it with their hand. You could feel like you hear bones. You hear like the flesh. It gives you a tangibility to the reality. To the world that you're watching, and immerses you more into film. The cinematography is a stellar masterpiece. Just the style, like the dreamy B roll shots that they have is just, oh my god, just I love great usage of B roll, whereas it's using like random shots of trees and just, but genuine, like you actually it's something the directors visually saw and they're like, that looks cool, and it might not make sense to someone else, like, why are you guys just staring at some trees? But it's just the beauty of nature and the randomness and the awkward locations and spots and angles, that you see, and that's great film directing. Those are great visionary directors, you know, and the cinematography is just amazing. Um, I'm trying to think what else. The writing is great. I think this has a lot of great writing on a superficial level, just on a base level up front. I think the writing is very amazing. Just for like just the things, just the flat up front storyline of like this woman who's in doing a ritual part of the cult kind of thing, and just on a horror film level, it's written well. And I think it's written well on a subtext level because there is, I do believe, subtext to this, about trauma, about child abuse, and about how sometimes people that look like they're the most disabled or the most broken or sometimes the strong or like the most people that look the most fragile amongst you are probably sometimes the most strongest amongst you emotionally, you know and this it's like it's just writing's amazing. I believe Danny wrote this film with another writer, and the music is really good. I really enjoyed the music in this. I thought the music was really well put together. There's a lot of tracks in there that honestly I want to see the film again just to hear, and I might have to look up the soundtrack of what the songs they picked because there's some songs I've never heard of and that really liked that they put in this. Um, um, what else? And the thing that keeps coming back to me is the sound. Really, I've said the sound design already, but it's just the sound. Really, is just that's is the sound. Really is. I kept thinking that throughout the film. Like the sound. There's not a lot of films where you recognize sound because that's the thing. They don't use music and loud like horror film noise. It's like they make it where you could hear sound. I guess since the character of Piper is blind, they really want to utilize sound to kind of like have us connect more to her character. And yeah, I thought that was really, really, really cool. The practical effects are amazing. There's no practical effects in here that look cheesy. Um, and I think due to the fact that the story is a slow burn and it builds up to a crescendo, like I think that helps really make the violence more like painful to watch and gritty and like and it because you care about it, like they spend time making you care about these characters, so when things start popping off and you start seeing people get injured and violence starts occurring, then it feels like, oh god, oh no, I don't want to see these people, that because you care about them, you feel their pain, where like something like this is something Damien Leone needs to take note on when he's writing his scripts, is that he needs to make us care about the characters a little bit more, and not just in a sense of just give us exposition about a character or a background story about a character. I'm talking about write the characters where we can like relate to them and make them feel relatable, and spend time making a world that's realistic, because his movies are starting to feel like just gore porn, where it's just like, let's just make this half-ass story just to get to some really fucked up kill. Because it just feels like the story is meandering just to get to a kill, and it's crazy at first, but until the end where you start feeling it, and it's like, okay, it's like, because it's just like there's no story, and it's just kind of like it gets repetitive. It's like you're just watching a compilation of murders happen, and it's just kind of like I could just see us on YouTube, like, and that's really how I felt in the third Terrifier film. At the end, it's kind of like, okay, but I mean, I do like the ending of it, but I think it was slow getting, like, I do not like the third act, but I do like the finale, like the last part where the final girl kind of like overcomes the Art the Clown and all that. But yeah, this film just is a better written film, and that's what makes the violence more tangible, and more like painful to watch. Like unlike Terrifier, like there's nothing really in Terrifier that I'm like looking at like, ugh, okay, ooh, like it's kind of like it's more ridiculous. Looking like, wow, that's crazy. What the hell? Like it's like Looney Tunes almost, because how ridiculous it is. Where this feels realistically written. So when the violence occurs, you're like, oh god, jeez, because it feels like you're at like honestly when the scene that's the iconic chewing on a knife scene is painful because you kind of care about the kid, even how even Andy's trying to take care of Oliver and have him just like speak and stuff. It's kind of like when it happened, which that's one thing I did not. I think that's the one part I don't like that reminds me. He gives Oliver a knife with cantaloupe on it, and Oliver like grabs the blade of the knife, and then he just lets go of the knife. He doesn't like try to get the knife out of his hand or grab the blade sharp part. He's like, okay, no, Oliver, stop, let go of the knife. He does like, because that's like a little kid. It's like, okay, don't bite the knife. He just kind of like, here. The kid takes the knife, holds the knife like this, and he's chewing on the cantaloupe. And then Oliver and Andy turns around and is like, oh, I'm gonna get a plate. And then he's hearing Oliver chewing on a knife, and I'm like, why did you let this kid who looks like he's demented and off psychologically, just literally hold on to the blade of the knife, while he's about to chew into a cantaloupe. It's like that's one part that's kind of like, Andy, come the fuck on, and that's one part that's literally the only part in the film that I would say the writing in that, kind of felt a little like, what? That's kind of stupid. That's one part in the film I was kind of like, that's kind of stupid. That is one nitpick that I wish that they could have done differently. He could have just tried to like grab when he had a knife, grab the knife like by the blade, try to chew it. Andy could try pulling it, but he didn't want to slice the hand. You could have made it more. He's like, he didn't want to cut the kid's hand, and then the kid started chewing on it while he's having the knife. And it's like, it's like it could have just played off like that instead of having to turn his back, leave the knife in the kid's hand. Like, I was like, what? It just felt kind of like maybe a misstep, kind of like a over like a little mistake right there because the movie's so good and written so well. That's the part. That's why that moment kind of stands out like a sore thumb. But that is nothing compared to this whole film's writing, dude. Honestly, you're gonna forget about that entirely. That's why I forgot about it until I brought it up. But yeah, the practical effects are great, and I think they shine more because the script is good, you know. But yeah, I really like this film. Sally Hawkins, my favorite in there. Honestly, I love Sally Hawkins. I love Jonah Rin Phillips. I love Billy uh, Barat, and I love Sora Wong. Um, Even all the other extras in the background, everybody was great. I think this film, these directors know how to cast actors, know how to use actors, know how to use cinematography, know how to use sound. Wow, this is a far better film than Taught to Me, in my opinion. I'm gonna do a review for that too because I saw that a little while ago, a couple days ago. I will do a review for that, but wow, this film, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really well put together. I highly recommend you guys go check this out. It's in theaters now near you. Um, um, and this movie, for me, it's a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. Good job, Danny and Michael Philippou. You guys are stepping it up each project you're in. I like Talk to Me. Don't love it. I like it. I love this. And keep it up. Keep up good work. Don't and make sure to not have parts where characters do some stupid shit like Andy leaving a knife in a kid's hand. Let's not do any more stupid writing parts like that. Because the movie's written so well. Don't please just don't have little parts like that because that's the type of stuff that pulls me out of movies. This is when characters just do like what. But this movie deserves a round of applause. Classic, a beautiful nightmare. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, may the force be with you. Peace and out.